Too much politics in club sports, man. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, back on home turf looking for its first win in over 2 weeks. The squad looks to snap a 6-game losing streak as it takes on league rival Paradise Valley. It's the Coyotes and Pumas right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. Good evening, everyone. We appreciate you dialing in. I'm Joe Pequeno. Tonight, the Coyotes are prowling the desert searching for their offense. We bring in Seton Catholic High School coach and longtime club coach Grant Wagner. Coach, Coyotes have struggled all year offensively, scoring only 6 goals. They're coming off a 4 consecutive shutout losses streak. What do they have to do to get their offense going tonight?
I think the biggest thing is they're going to have to create opportunities. If you don't create opportunities, you're not going to be able to put the ball in a goal-scoring position. And you got to press. You got to make those opportunities. And when you get those opportunities, you got to be opportunistic and put them away. On
the other side for Coach Christian DeVries, his Pumas have also struggled getting shut out in the last 4 games, getting outscored 23-0. Obviously, they have a lot of new players, a lot of young blood on both sides. So when you've got a young team, you're struggling offensively. What's the message for your squad?
You got to believe that you've had a message the entire season. You've been basing everything off of a couple different ideas, and they got to stick with it. You got to believe it until the end.
Coyotes won the first matchup 1-0 in double overtime as they go for the season sweep. Coyotes are rested and ready. They haven't played since Saturday's loss at Pima 8-0. Coach Zach Kampf enters his first season as the head men's soccer coach after being the boys' varsity coach at Eastmark. Overall, the squad is 4-7, conference 1-6. They've lost 5 straight. Home 3-4, away 1-3. Looking at the starting lineup for Chandler Gilbert. Between the pipes, freshman goalkeeper Daniel Magana. Number 3, Alfredo Olivar, the defender at sophomore. Number 5, Rylan Ross, defender. He's a freshman. Number 9, Christian Williams, defender, freshman. Number 10, Aiden Gonzalez, midfielder, freshman. Number 11, Kalili Kalua, defender, freshman. Number 12, Wyatt Brunell, forward, a freshman. Number 19, Isaac Waddle, midfielder, a sophomore. Number 23, Sam Bellows, freshman forward. Number 24, Joshua Gutierrez, sophomore midfielder. And number 26, freshman forward, Shane Nesbitt. Paradise Valley rolls in 6-6 overall, 3-4 in league. They are coming off Tuesday's home loss against Mesa Community College 2-0. In the loss, the squad with 9 shots total, only 3 on goal. Only 4 shots on goal in the loss to Glendale Community College, 4 shots on goal in the loss to Yavapai, and 7 shots on goal in the loss to Phoenix College. The squad is averaging less than 2 goals a game. We'll take a short timeout for the announcements and the national anthem.
Test, test, test.
And we are just moments away from this matchup kicking off. Paradise Valley rolls in 6-6 overall, 3-4 in league. They are coming off Tuesday's home loss against Mesa Community College 2-0. Starting lineup for the Pumas, dressed in the dark navy blue, 00 Jaden Thomas between the pipes. All-American defenseman Manuel Zambrano, 5 goals, 1 assist coming in. Kamala Garma, freshman midfielder. Number 8, Jalen Pacias, sophomore midfielder. Number 9, Cesar Swarren, freshman forward. Number 11, Malik Fierro, freshman defender. Number 12, Nicholas McCaffrey, freshman defender. Number 13, Harrison Hofstad, freshman defender. Number 14, Phoenix Hall, freshman forward. Number 21, Roberto Turan, freshman midfielder. And number 28, Jimmy Quintero, freshman midfielder, comes in with 1 assist. So both squads huddled up. And for the Pumas, no question, they're treating this one essentially like a playoff game because it is. They need this victory to stay in the top 4 to have a shot at the postseason.
Absolutely. Absolutely they do.
So Coach Camp and his squad talking things over. Chandler Gilbert dressed in the white and the checkerboard teal-colored outfit, ready to get after it. Of course, they won this first matchup in double overtime last month, and no question, both teams, young teams, and when you have young teams that are scoring few and far apart, Coach, this one could be about possession.
It absolutely could be about possession and how well they. If they struggle in that attacking transition, it's going to be a long game. But if they can find some success, keep possession, ping the ball around, it could be a good game.
And no question, anytime you're in a rivalry game, how big is the intensity? How big is the emotions between both sides and the players on the field, being that they're playing for bragging rights because these are teams that are just separated by different portions of the valley and playing for bragging rights in.
That was close. Early opportunity. Early.
So right off the bat, Paradise Valley coming out, setting the tone with the first shot on goal. Now it's the Coyotes trying to move it back the other way. And giving chase is All-American defenseman Manuel Zambrano. Coach DeVries had nothing but great things to say about him. Great closing speed, high IQ, 5 goals on the season, 1 assist. And we got a stoppage of play as the whistle blows and a side out for Chandler Gilbert. So the Coyotes have scored only 6 goals all season. A very young team, Coach Camp in his first season, and when you've got a young team that's littered with freshmen and you're trying to build, how difficult is that process? And along the way, trying to have some patience with your squad.
Patience is key. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you do have a young squad, so there's a lot of experience that you lack. However, with the young squad, you kind of make up that experience with their rate of play and how heavy they can get into a game. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. But if you can train them correctly and get them to believe in a single idea and get them going as a team, as a unit, you can make some magic happen.
So Zambrano working in that back end, tries to get it to his teammate and got a whistle blown. So the Coyotes with an opportunity. Free kick from the, looks like a throw-in opportunity. It'll be a kick-in opportunity. one a quality knock and
just over
the net. No question, that was a good boot. Excellent work by Aiden Gonzalez. Let it rip from the side and just a little too high. So both teams setting some tones with some shots early, and that's a good sign for two teams struggling offensively. Two teams that know each other oh so well. Paradise Valley located in the heart of Central Phoenix, up to 51, and of course Chandler Gilbert based here in the East Valley. Now it's the Pumas trying to work it. This one worked up the field, giving chase. Sam Bellows, opportunity, Bellows.
Oh, he's in.
Giving chase, Bellows lets it
it.
rip.
Yeah.
Bellows knocks it in. Sam Bellows sets the tone in the first half. Beats the Pumas up the field and beats Jaden Thomas, and the Coyotes are on the board first.
It's that quick transition from the defense into the offensive transition. If they can get that, they caught the Paradise Valley team with a high back line. They weren't prepared for a clearance. They went one-on-one with the center back and a forward, and it was game over from that point.
And Sam Bellows just putting that in fifth gear and just outworking the Pumas back line and beating Thomas on the kick. And so for Chandler Gilbert, for a team that struggled offensively, to come out in the opening minutes, what kind of confidence does that give them?
It gives you a definite boost of energy. It gives you that confidence that you have this, especially being a home game, getting the first goal. It sets up a really, really good game.
So make no mistake, for the Pumas, they're treating this like a playoff game. They need this win and have to really work their schedule to have a shot to make the postseason. And for Chandler Gilbert, playing for pride and building on next season as well. So good work on the back end. Wyatt Brunell knocking it forward, and then on the back end, Zambrano trying to set up his teammates, and Chandler Gilbert doing a nice job and getting it back out offensively. Knocked across, but picked off at midfield. And it's the Pumas, and now it's Chandler Gilbert working at midfield. Good work by Shane Nesbitt. Now work to the side. Ryan Ross giving chase. Ross, a little give and go and some physicality given by Phoenix Hall. So right now, Chandler Gilbert setting the tone offensively, bringing the physicality, and right now it's PV a little bit back on their toes a little bit right now.
After that first goal, you are on your toes, and so if they can capitalize here, the wind's going to be an issue. Get the ball on the ground and keep it moving. It's going to be key for Coyotes.
And you kind of talk about the wind. We just saw that on the pooch kick. It looked like it was just flying a kite. And coach, when you have that kind of wind, how will that play a factor in the course of this one?
At that point, you got to tell your kids to put the ball on the ground, keep moving it. You got to ping it, and you have to limit your times with the ball in the air.
So Nicholas McCaffrey will just shoot it in, find Harrison Hofstad. McCaffrey knocks it down. Pumas, and good defensive effort by Nesbitt. Nesbitt on the throw-in. Isaac Waddle working it. Waddle, Nesbitt, a little give and go, trying to punch it up the field. Knocked back the other way by Zambrano. Zambrano, of course, All-American, so poised on that back end. Kind of a calming presence. And when you have that kind of defender on your back end, what does that do as a coach, and how much pressure does it ease you knowing you have that kind of defensive player back there?
It allows. I think we just have a lightning delay here. Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you dialing us up on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. Joe Pequeno and Grant Wagner on the call as Chandler Gilbert taking on Paradise Valley. And despite it being a sunny day and very windy, we have a lightning delay. So we're going to let Mother Nature wave her wicked wand for a little bit, and we'll take a short timeout, and as soon as we get back to live action, we'll on the call. Stick and stay. Soccer between Chandler Gilbert and Paradise Valley coming right up.
It doesn't.
Okay? Stay compact. Stay tight. Midfielders, again,
It sucks.
inside. Stay come down and work really fast. Okay, I'll work him and you will win. 13.
And we welcome you back to Chandler Gilbert Community College, where the matchup between the Coyotes and the Pumas is about to resume. We had a little bit of a lightning delay right here on the course of the match. Only 6 minutes in before Mother Nature waved her wicked wand and shut things down. Joe Pequeno and Grant Wagner on the call. I think in the 30-minute delay, I had a birthday or two. I've aged a couple of years, so I'm now 65 years old, so I'm now eligible for Social Security. And that's okay, because the extra money coming in along the way is actually a good thing. So an exciting first 6 minutes of play as the Coyotes got on the board, as Sam Bellows decided to take things in his own hands and beat the Paradise Valley defense and got the early goal, and that is where we are. So we saw 6 minutes of action before the shutdown, Grant, and no question the home team came out with a purpose.
They came out with a fire. They knew exactly what they were looking to do. They executed very, very well in the opening couple of minutes, and now the trick is going to be how do they regain that? How do they keep their composure and get after it?
And we're going to kind of reset the lineups as well for Chandler Gilbert. Between the pipes is freshman Daniel Magana. Number 3, Alfredo Oliver, that is, the sophomore defenseman. Number 3, Rylan Ross, defenseman, a freshman. Number 9, Christian Williams, defender, freshman. Number 10, Aiden Gonzalez, midfielder, a freshman. Kalili Kalua, number 11, defenseman, a freshman. Number 12, Wyatt Brownell, freshman forward. Number 19, Isaac Waddle, midfielder, a sophomore. Number 23, Sam Bellows, who scored that goal, a freshman forward. Number 24, Joshua Gutierrez, a midfielder, a sophomore. Number 26, Shane Nesbitt, forward, a freshman. On the other side for Paradise Valley, Jaden Thomas, 00, between the pipes. Number 3, Manuel Zambrano, defenseman, All-American, a sophomore. He can shut you down, blistering. Young man can do it all. As of now, uncommitted. Number 6, Kamala Garma, midfielder, a freshman. Number 8, Jalen Pacias, midfielder, a sophomore. Number 9, Cesar Swarren, freshman forward. Number 11, Malik Fierro, defenseman, a freshman, a couple assists on the year. Number 12, Nicholas McCaffrey, also has a couple assists. Defender, a freshman. Number 13, Harrison Hofstad, defender, freshman. Number 14, Phoenix Hall, forward, freshman. Number 15, Nicholas Saenz, midfielder, freshman. Number 21, Roberto Terran, midfielder, also freshman. And Jimmy Quintero, midfielder, freshman. And we are back to live action, and this one knocked out of play in the corner. So we appreciate you dialing us up right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. Joe Pequeno and Grant Wagner on the call, as Coyotes are on the back end of their defense, coming out as Paradise Valley coming out attacking to start this restart of this matchup between these two longtime rivals, members of the Arizona Junior College Athletic Association. And no question, when you have two rivals, doesn't matter the records, Grant, throw them out. Two teams are always going to be ready to play.
They have to be, and they know it. And going into a game like this, I mean, you're going to have a bit of an adrenaline dump the first 10 minutes of the game. You can kind of see with this lightning delay, it's kind of alleviated that dump, that adrenaline dump. So it kind of goes into the favor of both teams, get that out of the way.
And you kind of talk about the lightning delay, Grant. So how difficult is it for the teams to get their energy back up and get refocused? Because it's like basically starting the day all over again.
You have to find it, and trying to find that energy. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult. It's not something that a coach can really get the team to do. It comes from each individual. They have to find
that extra level of competition and really get after it.
So both teams, as we mentioned, have struggled offensively coming into this one. Chandler Gilbert scored only 6 goals on the season. On the other side for Paradise Valley, scored only 20. And right off the bat, Sam Bellows with that huge momentum lift for the Coyotes. And that is where we are as we begin this first half of play all over again. Now, last month in a matchup between these two teams, Chandler Gilbert won in double overtime. And here they are where the stakes are so high for Paradise Valley. This is essentially a playoff game for them to remain in the top 4 so they can get a playoff berth. So,
you know, in order for them to find success in this game, the Pumas are going to have to eliminate the amount of turnovers they have in their attacking third. They do all this work to get the ball in the attacking third. They're putting numbers around the ball, and they're just so eagerly getting rid of the ball. They got to do a better job keeping possession in the final third.
And Shane Nesbitt hits the turf, and call will go in favor of the Coyotes with an opportunity as we close in under 36 minutes left in this half.
I'll be interested if he tries to go for a goal on this one, because last couple of set pieces they've had, they put it on frame. They can definitely hit it from a distance, or are they going to try to do maybe a little chip play down in the box? I think he's going to put it in. Yeah, he went for it.
Went for it and
bouncing
around and a diving stop by Jalen Thomas. Jaden Thomas diving and securing. Good work on that end for the Pumas. Now it's the Pumas trying to make some noise offensively.
You can see the Pumas are putting the Coyotes underneath a tremendous amount of pressure in their attacking third. Again, they just got to do a better job keeping possession.
Shane Nesbitt
Beat him with your run. Hey, beat him with your run, not the dribble. Let's go.
hustling and trying to get that ball and securing it. Now it's ball in play as Pumas trying to control it at midfield, and this one goes out of bounds in favor.
You know, coming into this game, you can start to see a lot of the shots that each team has had. Chandler Gilbert, they only had a couple shots on the entire season. They have maybe 1.6 shots per game. You're averaging under 2 shots a game. That means you have to be very well defensively minded. But on the flip side, Pumas, they have well over 10 shots per game. They're looking at a 76. Their shot on goal accuracy is not that great, but they're putting in more opportunities than what Coyotes are. That could be the difference later in this game, where we see a 1-goal game could end up.
So Jimmy Quintero shoots it down the field. This one headed by the back end of that Chandler Gilbert defensive unit, and working that ball in the corner. Coming up big. Great work by that back end of the Coyotes. So both teams bringing that physicality. And the Pumas trying to get the turnover, and Nesbitt, just a bolt of energy. Nesbitt working that side. Got a man, that's Wyatt Brownell. Back to Nesbitt. Nesbitt streaking across the field. Nesbitt shoots it across. And the Pumas get it right back.
Coyotes got to do a little bit better job staying connected with the midfield there. You got to find those passes and get through. There's a lot of gaps, a lot of openings the Pumas are having. The Coyotes, they just got to find the connection, get through, and I think they'll be okay.
And you kind of talk about that. They've got to be able to find those open passing lanes a little better. And Graham, when you have young teams like this, how difficult is it when a slew of both sides are littered with freshmen that they haven't played, and they're starting to learn how to play and make those passes and find those connections of where their teammates will be on the field?
Oh, he's great. Well done with the attacking pressure there. A bit aggressive, but that is what the Coyotes are going to have to bring in the attack. They're going to have to bring that pressure and continually just beat at the door of Pumas.
Oh, yes, and we saw Sam Bellows, who scored that goal. He brought the physicality, right?
Oh, he did, yeah, absolutely.
Sam Bellows was fighting. And as a coach, when you see that, what kind of tone does that set for you as a coach and for the rest of your teammates?
I love it. I mean, it's something that absolutely sparks the fire for the rest of the team. And if you have one player do it, you're going to have another player do it, and all of a sudden your entire team is getting after it, and that's when the magic can happen.
So Zambrano will knock this one down the field, trying to set up his teammates. This one into the box and chased down by Daniel Magana. Magana with the easy save opportunity. Magana in the pink jersey, loud and proud. You can find him on any dark night because he glows in the dark with that jersey. Bellows tries to knock it upfield, and good battle by Zambrano. Zambrano showing his skill set. The All-American undecided and knocked back down to Jaden Thomas. Thomas working that right side as the Pumas trying to make some noise in this first half. Good move. Shot across and headers knocked away, but Pumas keep control. Bodies on the turf.
Oh, that was a sloppy foul there. Very deep in the defending third for the Coyotes.
Nicholas Signs on the turf for the Pumas and being helped up. So the refs giving the Pumas a free kick opportunity. And no question, Manuel Zambrano is going to take that kick. He leads the team with 5 goals and an opportunity for the All-American to tie this one up. Zambrano.
You would expect he's going for this. He's going to put it on target.
And Zambrano shoots, and this one high and over the crossbar, so that remains a 1-0 Chandler Gilbert lead. Zambrano let it fly and just a little too high. And make no mistake, we still have some wind here. That's a little bit of a factor. And a little bit of lightning to our farther east and north of us. But temperature-wise, calm, nice night for soccer. Of course, Paradise Valley, Nicholas Signs comes limping off, and that's not a good thing. Freshman midfielder from Levine, Arizona.
You know, the amount of pressure that the Coyotes are putting on the Pumas back four, it is impressive. You see, once they get into the attack, they put numbers forward, and having to defend against that for, I mean, just the opening 10 minutes, you know it's going to be an all-game ordeal. And knowing that, at some point, the flood walls are going to break, and you're going to see some goals. If Coyotes can keep the pressure on the back line of the Pumas.
And pressure is the key for both teams to make the most of their opportunities when they get them. Pumas trying to control the ball at midfield. Ball's knocked around a bit, bodies banging. And once again, it's...
That's an interesting call there.
Alfredo Oliver. So the call goes against the Coyotes. Knocking it in is Jalen Pasillas. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist on the year. So in this situation, Grant, what do you think Pasillas is looking to do?
He should be put in the box. They have some tall players that get in the box. They've taken a couple. They put them on target. Hasn't worked. So now it's time to switch it up, which is exactly what they did. They tried to put it on the back step for one of their forwards and midfielders to run and try to head it in. I mean, you can start to expect they're going to change things up with their approach and their attack, which they start to do. And when they do, they're going to put the ball in the box and just try to have something happen. I mean, at this point, you're not getting a whole lot of attacking pieces into it. So when you have the opportunities, serve it in the box, put it to your tall kid, and let him run onto it.
So Pasillas knocks it down and knocked away, and Magana knocks it back in play. But now Pumas keeping it deep in Coyotes territory until the Coyotes finally clear it. And now they're going back the other way and shooting it. Yep. Sam Bellows scored the first goal. Bellows in that corner, shoots it across. Opportunity from the left side. Nice move, point blank,
Wow.
and just wide. Jaden Thomas felt the pressure of the Coyotes, so the Coyotes will have a corner kick opportunity, and that was excellent work, excellent execution by Bellows, cross court, cross field, I should say, giving his team an opportunity.
You can see how quick the Coyotes' attack is. I mean, it is dangerous, and it is so lightning quick. It is fun to watch this Coyotes team go at it.
So corner kick opportunity, this one knocked away. So Brano's there, knocks it up the field, so now it's Paradise Valley working up the sidelines. A little bit of a holding right there, and no question.
That's
That
a
calls-
very, very sloppy defensive foul right there.
Yeah.
He had cover in behind. He did not have to waste that foul there.
Yeah. No question, he grabbed him from behind. That was an easy call by the referee. So checking in for the Pumas, new bodies coming in. Alvin Johnson, freshman forward, as well as number 20, Mark Dobis. Couple goals, couple assists. Freshman midfielder about to check in. Nesbitt doing a nice job in this game, and Nesbitt working that ball up to the side. He's got 3 men around him, and watching Nesbitt battle, no question. Young man coming with a passion, freshman forward, fearless, got some good wheels as well.
I love his confidence when he gets in the attack. When he's on the ball, he looks calm and collected. He looks ready to attack, and he has no fear to get in and mix it up.
No question, he's playing at another level right now, another gear, and so is Sam Bells on the offensive end. So the back end of Coyotes doing a nice job. They've taken some assaults. This one knocked over, good header, working the ball back up the field, working up that left side of the field.
And, if he can switch us the point of attack, yep, and he sure does. You can see the attack is being led. Oh, what a beautiful ball in.
Carlos Sanchez and Nesbitt, and Bellows opportunity. Bellows gets the ball taken away, but no question, some good passing, some good execution by the Coyotes, giving themselves an opportunity to be in a potential goal situation. So now it's dropped back down defensively, and once again the Coyotes hustling, getting back, and working the ball out of their zone and getting it back upfield.
They're really making the Pumas look out of position here. They look uncomfortable, not ready to play, not ready to get in the attack. They're kind of sloppy on possession. Coyotes are doing a great job with this.
So Coyotes on the back end, and once again they've got some bodies going to the ball, knocking it back down to their back end, working in the ball up the field, up to Nesbitt, and Nesbitt is that bolt of lightning that anytime he gets the leather, he makes good things happen, and good possession by the Coyotes as they go across the field.
And what's interesting, Joe, when they first started playing, that's a shot from a distance. When we first started playing, all the balls in the air, they couldn't do it. They would die. Now that wind's not that much of a factor. Another shot goes wide, kind of a slow hit. But now the wind's not really a factor, so now they're able to get those long-distance balls driven across at ease. That's going to open up the field for the Coyotes to make some really interesting attacks.
One thing I'm really seeing is Carlos Sanchez, the freshman midfielder, doing a really nice job on the opposite end of the field, coming up, working both ends of the field. People don't realize the amount of pressure a midfielder has to go back on the defensive end, and then on the offensive end, doing a great job setting his offensive players up. Now on the back end for the Coyotes, and once again, they are there and doing a great job and battling, and you can't say enough about Wyatt Brownell, freshman forward, just working on that back end. And
Absolutely.
Bodies to the ball. And you got a call right there and an opportunity.
You start to sense a little bit of frustration from the coaching staff over here with the Coyotes with these needless defensive fouls. And again, this is 4 in the first half. I mean, that's too many, and it's real close. And this is within shooting distance. Could be dangerous.
So Zambrano, who leads the team with 5 goals, he's an All-American, probably the best defender in this conference. He'll get an opportunity, and he's so dangerous on the defensive end, but offensively so skilled, and comes in, and this one knocked away. Daniel Magana getting up like a champ and knocking it away. The man in the pink jersey. No batteries needed in that jersey. Comes up big and swats it away, and no question, Zambrano gave it a good rip. So we continue on, a 1-0 Coyotes lead.
Pumas are starting to put on the attack right now, putting the Coyotes on their heels. They're doing a good job pressing the Coyotes right back, and they're putting numbers around the ball, so when they get that attacking transition, they're starting to look a little bit dangerous over here.
Magana after Brunell, and Brunell coming up on that left side, a little gimpy.
Great first touch by the Coyotes. Another good execution ball.
So Bellows up the field. Bellows, gotta love the footwork across Sanchez. And now it's Brunell fighting, trying to keep his feet. And good work by the Coyotes. Aiden Gonzalez in there as well. Make that Isaac Waddell. But it's the Pumas shooting it back then, and good effort on the header, trying to just keep it away. So the bodies for the Coyotes. This one shot, and this one is shot out of bounds. So
a little bit of miscommunication there with the outside back and the center back from the Coyotes. Kind of created an opportunity for the Pumas to get in.
Roman Venegas, freshman defender, checking in, number 4. So right now, a little bit of a chess match as Brunell stepping off, and young man who's a little gimpy, taking a breather as he works his way to the bench. So Coach Zach Kemp and his staff trying to reassess the personnel and bring in some fresh bodies and maybe getting Brunell a little bit of a breather. So now it's going to be Roman Venegas on that back end to provide some defensive energy.
Coyotes are doing a much better job possessing the ball and keeping possession once they do have the ball than what the Pumas are doing.
Appreciate you dialing us up on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. You're watching the Coyotes and Paradise Valley, these long-time league rivals. Chandler Gilbert won the first matchup in double overtime last year, and they get a goal early in this one. Sam Bellows just out-hustled everyone, and we got bodies flying. Big-time contact. Bodies flying between Mark Dobis, the midfielder, the freshman, and on the other side, Christian Williams, freshman defender. So the Chandler Gilbert coaching staff talking to the ref about it, and Zambrano will get an opportunity. So Daniel Magana is going to have to be at his best right here. No question, Zambrano is going for the net. Zambrano actually gets it across, going back to Zambrano with an opportunity. Zambrano shoots it up, close range, and ball is knocked away. So great work by the Coyotes on the back end, and honestly, Grant, I'm really surprised Zambrano just didn't take the shot toward the goal.
Pumas did a fantastic job getting the ball in the box and trying to make something happen. I think Coyotes got extremely lucky they were clearing that ball out.
So they clear it out, they get the break, and we are now under 19 minutes left in this first half. Both teams punching and counter-punching a little bit in this one. Testing each other's skill set, testing each other's physicality, and testing each other's manhood to see who wants it more in a critical game. October, the change of season, and no question for Paradise Valley, they need this game. Must-win game. Close range, and this one knocked out, and a save by the Coyotes defenseman on that back end. Close
right
range.
Off the goal line. Man, you know what? They got a wee bit lucky there.
So the Chandler Gilbert defense comes up big on that back end. Looked like a point-blank goal, so now it's a corner kick opportunity for Paradise Valley. This one not close, and this one trickles out of bounds to the right. So Magana under a lot of pressure in his last couple minutes, and he survives the PV onslaught.
You know, with the natural sway of a game, things go in your favor and they go out of your favor. And if the ball starts going in your favor, you have to capitalize, especially if you are down 0-1 on the road. You have to find a way to capitalize, and that's 3 or 4 great opportunities that Pumas just couldn't find the back of the net.
So shots on goal right now, you got to figure it's in favor as Magana chases that one down. It's in favor of Paradise Valley. Call it roughly 5-3, and Paradise Valley's had some close range looks in the last 10 minutes or so, just cannot capitalize. In a game like this where both teams are struggling offensively, look, it looks like that goal gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
It absolutely does, and at some point, it depends on who's gonna stretch out, who's gonna sacrifice a limb for the team, and either make that goal happen or keep the ball out of the back of the net.
So Jaden Thomas working the ball to his back end. Zambrano, captain of that defense, works it up the field. And giving chase, can't say enough about his effort, is Carlos Sanchez doing double duty as a midfielder. And this one pooched down the field. And good work by the Chandler Gilbert back line.
Ooh, that's a difficult challenge. That should have been a call. They passed
call
that
is
one.
not made, and Chandler Gilbert dumping it back down to Magana. So Paradise Valley's, no question, picked up their intensity in the last 10 minutes. No question, they know what their fate is. They lose this game, the chances of going to the postseason are slim to none. And for Chandler Gilbert, they're playing for pride.
Oh, he's offside. Yeah. But look how fast that attack happened, though. It was so quick. That transition, it's hard to defend against that for an entire game.
And we kind of talked about his play, and Carlos Sanchez, the freshman forward, really playing well. Going up and down the field, setting up his teammates, working that attack from the left side. And Jaden Thomas, he's felt his share of duress in the course of this one as well. Under 16 minutes left as Paradise Valley shoots it down. Magana right there and dumps it out to his right side. Coyotes trying to add to their 1-0 lead. They scored early on a Sam Bellows, him against the world mentality goal, and just point blank beat Jaden Thomas. And now it's Thomas in that back end securing it. And this one just goes wide.
Again, that pressure from the forwards of Coyotes is just unreal.
Sam Bellows with an opportunity and just shoots it wide, and no question, Bellows wants that one back, almost scoring his second goal of the game. So, timeout on the field with 14:42 left in this first half, and Grant coming out a tale of two games, essentially, right? First 6 minutes, and then Sam Bellows sets the tone, scoring that quick early goal. Then we had the 30-minute lightning delay, and then a scoreless rest to this point. So what have you seen from both teams?
You know, the Pumas have done a much better job coming out after the break and really trying to put some stuff together. The first couple of minutes of the restart, they looked disheveled. They looked out of place. However, they have really started to answer the call. They have come back. They have put some life back on the field for them. And honestly, I would expect a lot more play going through the right side. It's their substitute number 7, Alvin Johnson. I would expect with his pace and his ability to whip the ball in the box, they expect him to be on the ball a lot more. They're going to have a lot more plays going through him. I think if a goal comes, it's going to come from his side. Either he's going to take on a couple Coyote players and sink it in, or he's going to look for that early cross and try to find a forward that's going all out and putting the ball in the back of the net.
Say one big key substitution. Starter Wyatt Brunell, the freshman forward, has stepped out. So stepping in on that back end is Roman Venegas, freshman defender, getting some time back there. And here's a freshman. He's coming in off the bench. And how big does he have to step up with the PV offensive unit starting to put a little more pressure on the attack?
I think At this point, you need a player back there, especially from the Coyotes in the back line, that's going to be more level-headed, and this could be perhaps what the coaching staff is looking at with the freshmen going back in there. They're going to be a little bit more level-headed. They're not going to be getting mixed into too many tackles. They're not going to give up as many of these defensive fouls as what we have been seeing, and this is a great breakaway.
Mark Dobis was close to being in position for maybe his third goal of the season opportunity, but Magana was there to snatch it away, and now the ball is being worked up the field. And we talked about Carlos Sanchez, and Sanchez on that side battling like a champ and just working it. You know, Sanchez has been very impressive on both ends, and now worked on the other side of the field. And we talked about Roman Venegas, and Venegas tries to dump it to Sam Dobis, make that Sam Bellows, that is, and Bellows knocks it. Ball gets knocked back the other way as Alvin Johnson in that midfield for Paradise Valley shoots it up the field. And it's Magana having to chase it down.
That Alvin Johnson, he is a quick player, man. He is hungry. You can tell he is in this game. He's at a different level.
And you kind of talk about, you just scouted that out about 5 minutes ago. In that situation, Alvin Johnson looked like he was about to walk his way through 5 players. And at some point, if you're the Coyotes coaching staff and you see something like that, you have to, like, what would you say to your teammates that they got to pick it up, the level of intensity?
At that point, you have a player that is going all out. The expectation for your team to follow and match has to be on point. Like, that's the message that you have to send to your team. Match it or sit.
So, fortunately, Alvin Johnson could not get a good shot across. I'm going to go back to live action, and it's Paradise Valley working that leather. Phoenix Hall. Now it's going back the other way. Jay Fuentes and Sam Bellows on his giddy up from that right side. Bellows, one-on-one opportunity. Tries to turn the corner. He gets taken down by Harrison Hofstad. The ball is being chased and goes in favor of the home white. You gotta like that. So Coyotes not wasting any time coming out with the leather. Isaac Waddell, dump back down. Roman Venegas on that other side.
Look how clean that was. It was a 2v3, and they slipped through perfectly.
So this one shot down the field, and Magana will give it chase. Under 13 minutes left in this first half with Coyotes with a 1-0 lead. Looking to snap that losing streak and get back on the winning side, and doing it against a league rival, always a good thing.
Look at this recovery by Alvin Johnson. What an athlete, man.
Alvin Johnson flying up that left side. And working that ball was Rylan Ross, freshman defender. So 11 and change in this first half between these two league rivals.
Number 14 for Pumas, Phoenix Hall. I think they're trying to get him more involved. If they can connect with him a lot more, he should be the playmaker, open up the gaps in the midfield for the Pumas, and hopefully be able to start finding their target forward and slipping some balls through and finding some success.
Phoenix Hall, a couple goals and assist on the year. This one knocked down the field and giving chase. Hauling it in is Jaden Thomas. Got a call on the field. Some physicality between Sam Bellows and Harrison Hofstad. And in a rivalry matchup, you would expect nothing less. Bodies flying and intensity between these two teams.
In a game like this, it is extremely difficult for the officials to keep a level-headed for both teams, and you have to do what you have to do without with putting a minimal exposure on the field or on the game as a referee. I think he's trying to keep that under control. Again, with two rivals, I wish him all the best of luck.
Yeah, no question on that. So
they're building the attack.
This one shot, and this one a
wow.
laser. Just a bullet. Great shot by Aiden Gonzalez. Jaden Thomas, that was a laser. Hit him right in the hands. But Gonzalez ripped a bullet Beautiful shot by Gonzalez. Thomas in the perfect position. 1-0. Now under 10 minutes left in this first half. Throw-in opportunity.
That's an interesting switch with the Pumas putting their target forward, Mark Dobos in as a center back.
So when you see something like that, playing the coach's mentality, the coach's cap, what do you think Coach DeVries is thinking?
I think he's trying to minimize the exposure his back line is seeing and trying to keep it a little bit more organized and not have so many attacking transitions against them. So you put a target forward back as a center back, that means their back line's not getting the job done right now, and they're trying to minimize that exposure going forward.
So Coach DeVries with the chest move, and now we see how Chandler Gilbert responds with a 1-0 lead. Pretty evenly played game on both sides. Sam Bellows scored in the first 5 minutes of this one. And both teams have knocked on the door with several opportunities. You're seeing this right here on the campus of Chandler Gilbert. Coyotes trying to defend their home turf and go for the season sweep against Paradise Valley. Coach Zach Camp, in his first year, has got a young team, bringing his style of play to this campus. Former varsity coach at Eastmark High in Queen Creek. Grew up in Arizona. Many years in the club soccer scene. Little pooch out front. Opportunity. Point blank.
What a
Magana,
save.
what a save. Magana in the perfect position and hauls the leather in.
You can see how quickly that transition going to happen with the Pumas. They get in, they put the ball with the target's forward. Target's foot does a great job turning it away from the center back. He puts a shot on frame within a step, and that was perfect. Very unlucky he didn't score that.
PV once again putting some pressure on late in this first half. And working that right side, trying to clear it. Jay Fuentes. Fuentes gets it out to Bellows, and this one in favor of the Coyotes, and Bellows with the throw-in opportunity. Stepping in, Cesar Swarren, number 9, is checking in for PV. Swarren, a freshman. Couple goals, 1 assist. He's got some skill from Sunrise Mountain High School. On the throw-in, Venegas, Bellows battling. This one shot to midfield. Coach is not happy with the Coyotes' effort, letting that ball go back the other way. This one ripped down the field, and Magana coming up with the save. But once again, you kind of called it. Alvin Johnson.
He's their target. I mean, that's what they're looking for. He can play that ball.
Alvin Johnson, 35 yards out, rips one on point, and Magana had to come up and snare it.
You know, at some point when you're struggling to break apart a back line, you can't find the seams, you can't find the passing lanes. Sometimes you just got to put the ball in the box and let your forwards run onto it, and Alvin Johnson has no problem with that.
Alvin Johnson showing his speed and athleticism, 35 yards out, rips a laser. The Magana had to come up and haul in, or this one's knotted at one. So right now, the home team dodging some bullets, and we're seeing the athleticism that Coach DeVries has on that bench. Young men like Alvin Johnson and DeVries yelling at Alvin Johnson to get up the field, and rightfully so. When you have that kind of game-breaking ability, you want him near the box, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's difficult as a player too is you hear a coach yelling at you like that, and what you don't see is, hey, great job on the defensive transition, but now you're also expected to be 30 yards up the field. Oh, that's kind of a wishful hit there.
Another shot, this time by John Tapia, sophomore midfielder from Shadow Mountain.
And you can see with the Paradise Valley, when they made the switch to the center back with Mark Dobos going from a target forward into a center back role, I said they're looking for a little bit more management, game management in the back there. And you can see the last couple of defensive things that he has done. He has absolutely brought in that management, that game management. The loose balls that are getting by, he's no longer allowing that to happen. He's on the correct side of the forward. He's denying the entry passes. That's what you have him there for.
And Alvin Johnson on his giddy up, shoots it. Johnson,
wow!
This one high over the crossbar. Once again,
this kid is
Alvin
something.
Johnson is electric. Alvin Johnson, the southpaw, fired a bullet over the crossbar, and Magana had to pick himself off the turf and just breathing a sigh of relief. That one was high and over the crossbar.
You know, when you have a player that is that definitive with both his left and right foot, it is extremely difficult to defend against that. He is a triple threat.
And that's why Coach DeVries and his staff, they want him on the attack, and Johnson giving chase, working the ball in the corner, giving battle. This one knocked out of play and in favor of Paradise Valley. So Alvin Johnson coming off and showing why he is a force, and showing why that at some point when he walks away from Paradise Valley, he's going to have an opportunity to play at the next level somewhere.
He's one of those players that you want to play with just because that he has that next level of competitiveness. He's going to drive hard. He's going to make you be a better player. I mean, that's just a fun player to have on your team to play with. Just what an athlete.
So good defense by Javian Hintes, the freshman forward, working that back end. And once again, Daniel Magana, we called his name a lot in the last 15 minutes. He's been worked by this PV offensive attack, and Alvin Johnson is letting his presence being felt. And right now, if you're Chandler Gilbert, what do you have to do to kind of turn the tide and maybe get a little more out of your midfielders?
You have to regain possession of your midfield. It's too sloppy. They're too eager to get rid of the ball as soon as they get it. They're not doing a good job connecting passes once it gets into the midfield. Wow,
this one is in.
There you go.
Shot is good.
Super sub.
And give the credit to number 18, Matthew Garcia. Garcia fires it up and nails it from the right side, his 4th goal of the year, and we are knotted at 1.
If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that switched out with Mark Dobos in the back, and you can tell that was a good switch. What a sub.
So, Coach DeVries, some personnel changes, and they all pay off for PV, and now we're knotted at 1. And you know what, Grant, for two teams that have been struggling offensively, we've seen highly competitive offensive attacks by both sides in this first half.
It has been electrifying, and you can see this referee is getting really upset with the teams, which I can kind of side with the players. It was a handball on the initial attack, deep in the defending third. Referee saying it's not a handball because it didn't direct traffic. Well, nonetheless, it still probably should have been something he called. I don't know if he was in the right position to call it or not, but you can definitely understand the frustration from the Coyotes team and the coaching staff. And if you're not careful, this is where the game will start to slip away from you if you're the Coyotes.
Okay, so on both ends, the Coyotes have to pick up their poise, collect themselves, and be ready to handle a good final 3 minutes, because in the last 15 minutes they've been outplayed.
Oh, absolutely. They've had that lull, they've had that mental lull, and now it's going to be a really big battle for them to regain their composure and to keep it cool, calm, and collected on the field. Just do what you do well and keep getting after it. Don't get away from your game.
And Grant, have you seen from the Coyotes on the back end too many guys watching the game instead of playing the game?
Yeah, and what's interesting, you see number 18, the center backs are leaving him way too wide open. They don't follow him back into the midfield. They leave him open, and now he's able to receive the ball without any pressure. He's able to turn and pick apart your back line, and he's been doing that for the last 5 or 6 minutes. And at some point, Coyotes are going to have to figure that out, and one of their center backs are going to have to drop with him into the midfield and mark.
Yeah, Matthew Garcia has been left open. Matthew Garcia streaking down the field, scored that game-tying goal, and that is where we are right now. We're knotted at 1, and this one, very entertaining for two teams struggling. Both are coming off losing streaks. Both have struggled offensively. Of course, well noted that Chandler Gilbert has scored only 6 goals all year, but they've got a quick one by Sam Bellows, and then Matthew Garcia knots this one at 1 apiece with the goal just a couple minutes ago, and that is where we are. So both teams really showing their energy and effort in this highly contested matchup between these two longtime rivals. And throughout the records, none of that matters. They both want to win. And for Chandler Gilbert, they're not going to go to the postseason. Let's be realistic. But for them, a season sweep over their rival, something they can walk off. And how much for them does that mean something to be able to walk off this field and knowing they own PV in a season?
I mean, it's huge. It's absolutely monstrous, especially when you're kind of get the tail end of your season. It's a home game. It's like you're going after it no matter what, and be able to walk away against a very quality team, and to know that you put them in the ground and you got to win over them. Absolutely, that's a huge improvement for the following year, especially for these freshmen on the Coyotes. If they can walk away in the last couple of home games, get some wins underneath their belt, go into the next season with some confidence, knowing that they are ready to play. It's absolutely crucial, not just for this season, but it's crucial for the building of the program to get this game under their belt, reorganize.
And the Coyotes have an injured player, as you can see from that high angle, moving gingerly on that sideline. And as soon as we can tell you a number, we will.
It almost looked like it was an off the ball, like maybe he had stepped in a pivot hole and fell. I didn't see any contact, but it could have been a previous contact where the injury came from.
And then the assistant is working on him right now, so as soon as we can get a jersey number for you, we will. But $1:29 left in this first half as the Coyotes try to regain their composure, regain their confidence as they shoot this one down the field. Bellows giving chase, and on that back end, Zambrano's there. And in the middle,
I think it was Victor is the one that went down with the injury for Chandler Gilbert.
Victor Martinez, sophomore midfielder. So the Coyotes will have to, as of now, play on without their veteran midfielder. And so once again, a team loaded with freshmen, 19. Well, the young kids are going to have to grow up real fast in this one. And they continue on, and they have to kill 48 seconds and maybe work Jaden Thomas, that PV goalie, put some pressure on him and set the tone for the second half.
Mark Dobos with PV with a really good clearance out of the back. Again, he's gotten back there and he has helped calm this back line.
So good chase by Sam Bellows on that back end. Opportunity. Ball rose out of bounds, so it's going to go in favor of PV, and Chandler coaches watching this one closely as time winding down. 6 seconds left, and as Jaden Thomas will end the ball in his possession. And a good first half of play. And for Chandler Gilbert, as the coaches walk on the field, clapping these young
Coyotes, that's going to be one of the coaching points. They cannot allow him to receive uncontested. Sometimes you don't need to win the ball defensively there. You just need to be on their back. So when they get the ball, they know they're underneath immediate pressure. Maybe in that instant, they make a mistake. They freak out. They know they're under pressure. Maybe they give the ball away, or maybe they give the ball back into the wrong position. That's what you have to do. You have to force them to play where they face. You have to eliminate the opportunities that you're just giving this PV team. And this PV team, they said, okay, you're going to give us these opportunities. We're going to make something of it. And it was about a span of 15 minutes. Paradise Valley, they found a way out of no way, and they had a beautiful goal.
No question, they owned that last 15 minutes of the game. They brought the intensity, they brought the physicality. Alvin Johnson was just a simple blur coming off that bench. And as you mentioned, the Coyotes Gilbert, the Chandler Gilbert defensive unit just a little too lax and letting bodies roam too free. So we are knotted at 1. We'll take a short break and we'll come back in a couple minutes. Second half is underway between Paradise Valley and your Coyotes right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. between the wind.
Yeah.
The wind was awful, and the wind was awful, and then the static was terrible.
That was atrocious.
It was
Yeah.
awful. I called a Park University volleyball game a couple weekends ago, and I kid you not, Grant, speaker pumping music or the PA right behind me, and it's like I had the headphones on, but it's like I can't even hear myself think. I'm talking
Right.
through it. It's just like, and so I asked the sports information director of Park University. I said, Preston, is this usually like this? Like, no. We made a mistake. We didn't have our stuff. We had to borrow theirs, and that's why. Like, thank God, because I couldn't do this. I mean, it's
I got a headache.
well, it's just like I can honestly, it's got to feel. It's like, look, you're constantly. You have to be able to hear yourself think.
Yep.
Every time I'm thinking, I'm thinking and talking at the same time, right? Collectively doing both at the same time, and I'm hearing freaking the announcer, over there. He's calling every play. And it's just like blaring, right? And then and the pregame, I come with like a good 5 minute monologue of setting things up, right? And I got freaking music playing in my ear, and I'm like, I don't know if am I gonna make it through this? I called a really good match, but if that speaker wasn't there, my eight is probably a 9.5, right? But no, but still, I still felt really good about the performance. For me, it's like it's all about did I do some good things in the course of the match. Oh, you enjoying it?
Awesome.
Great, thank you. Appreciate you. Well, I'm setting up. I'm just calling it out. I'm setting up the soccer knowledge, man. Great. Appreciate you saying that. Great, thank you.
That was good, yeah.
It's about engaging people, man, right?
Was he a non-contact injury? That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Man. It just sucks. Yeah.
I'm gonna call one of your games this year. I would love to see it. What's that? Back in the day, I called my own. That is from media day at ASU. I did hit one out that day. I won that day. I won a.
What about a medal?
Oh, it's better. I could have hit one out. They had a media day. Chandler Gilbert in Paradise Valley. This one knotted at one. Sam Bello set the tone in the first half for the Coyotes with an early goal, point blank, just outrunning, out-racing, out-hustling, out-muscling the Paradise Valley defensive unit. And then late in the first half, Matthew Garcia, left alone on numerous occasions in Paradise Valley, made Daniel Magana and that back end of the Chandler Gilbert defensive unit pay with the point-blank goal, and Magana lived dangerously late in that 15 minutes frame because PV came out with a purpose. They brought Alvin Johnson off the bench, and Alvin Johnson's like the Energizer Buddy, or he's like the Santa Claus that keeps on giving with the energy, effort, and skill. And now here we are, not at one in the second frame. So Chandler Gilbert coming out, trying to control tempo, and Sanchez, who had a great first half, knocks it across, and Aiden Gonzalez, and this one knocked away by Eric Nanyuzimi. And PV now going in on the offensive attack on the other side.
Coyotes have already done a good job with preventing number 18 from getting the ball uncontested. He got the ball. Now, he did make that play, but it was a eventual play. They took a little bit of time off of it. They're going to have to continue to do that and not allow 18 to receive the ball uncontested.
So, Grant, what do you expect? 1-1 after one. What do you expect in this second half?
I expect a lot. We saw a lot of heart in the last 15, 20 minutes of that first half. I think that's going to ratchet up. I think the closer this game gets to the end and it's still tied, you're going to see some fire happen. You're going to see some magic come to life for both teams, because it's going to be a do or die at that point, right? And they're already putting everything they have into it, but it's going. I expect this to be an electrifying half. If both teams can do on what they need to do in the attacking third and to build up into the attacking third, you're going to see some magic happen.
So 1-1 after the first half, and now we begin this second frame, and we were delayed, in case you're tuning in late, we were delayed a half hour by Mother Nature, lightning storms, and the lightning has gone away, so now it's a beautiful, almost pristine Chamber of Commerce weather night here in Arizona as these two heated rivals meet for bragging rights, and for PV it's so much more. They need this win to potentially stay alive for a playoff berth, so every possession, every moment, every outing with the leather is paramount for Coach DeVries and his team.
You know, as this half has started, I have seen a tremendous amount of movement off the ball with PV's Matthew Garcia. That target forward, number 18, he has done a fantastic job with the movement off the ball, putting Coyotes' back line underneath a tremendous amount of pressure. That is what you expect out of a target forward. I mean, he's just getting after this back line.
No question. And in case you're just tuning in, the Coyotes of Chandler Gilbert in the white and green, and Paradise Valley in the navy blue. And some heated words by young man coming to the bench, and Jimmy Quintero. Quintero fired up on that possession as the ball trickled out of bounds, and good work. Can't say enough about Carlos Sanchez, who's played a lights out contest in this one, really hustling up and down the field and on the throw-in. Rylan Ross, and Ross working that left side. Ross shoots it across. This one worked out front. Christian Williams.
You read him like a book on that one.
Williams
grabbed his pass.
Aiden Gonzalez. Gonzalez shoots it that left side. Worked down the field. And this one knocked out of play.
Called it back. Advantage wasn't there. Called up the first foul. Opportunity for Coyotes.
So the Coyotes with a foul call, they'll have an opportunity. And can the Coyotes capitalize? They didn't have a lot of attacking moments late in this first half, and now they'll get one. Carlos Sanchez will have the free kick opportunity.
This makes me nervous how the Coyotes are setting up defensively. They're leaving their target forward, Matthew Garcia, wide open.
Sanchez rips it. This one headed away and worked up the
field.
Look
at Garcia, he is on that opposite side. If they could have made that work, that could have been dangerous.
Garcia. So once again, Chandler Gilbert with the ball. Sanchez gets the ball in the throw-in from Rylan Ross. Ball's knocked out of bounds. So if you're a Chandler Gilbert fan right now, you're liking the way this is going. Ball's being worked more in Paradise Valley's territory. Contact. Nesbitt hits the turf. Harrison Hofstad, who's been a little bit everywhere, the freshman defender from Arcadia High School, the former Titan, knocking a body down, and we might be able, in the course of this one, to see a lot more as this game gets tighter and the minutes continue to trickle off as Aiden Gonzalez gets an opportunity.
This is prime real estate right now for the Coyotes. He's looking for this. You can tell he's hungry.
Gonzalez shoots it across. And this one is blocked. Good work by PV, and this one's just knocked down the field. Opportunity, and this one trickles off the header. So close.
That's clever, though. On that counter, you have to put the ball back in the box. Like, Coyotes did the right job doing that.
Aiden Gonzalez was there for a header that just trickled to the left of Jaden Thomas. And
you can see they're really starting to
scoreless.
pressure Matthew Garcia. This is about time. They need to start doing that defensively. Coyotes do.
So Hofstad coming back on defense, working that back end. Now it's PV, it's Garcia working that left side of the field. And now all of a sudden on both sides, left open, Jimmy Quintero. And good work, hustling, working the ball out of bounds. But you gotta like the effort by Rylan Ross. Did not leave his man open, went to the ball, and that's what you gotta see.
Absolutely, absolutely. At a minimum, they got to stay with it.
Coach Camp and his team can't afford to give an open player like that. We kind of talked about it. And working the ball the other way, Phoenix Hall.
The ball movement is so much better with PV this half than last half.
Garma now worked in that back end. Kalili Kalua knocks it across the field. Giving chase. PV working that back end. This one shot across. Phoenix Hall in the zip code. This one knocked out of play. So PV, throw-in opportunity.
Coyotes look a little shell-shocked right here. A little bit uncharacteristic of them.
So Chandler Gilbert now stacking that back end. Phoenix Hall will have the opportunity. Hall shoots it across, and this one goes across the field. Paradise Valley tried to contain it, could not. Going back the other way in the Coyotes' favor. Working that right side. And knocked out of bounds. Coyotes retain possession. Nicholas Montoya throws it in, shot across the field. Sanchez giving chase. Sanchez, that left side. He's got some room. Now PV closing in. Sanchez shoots it down to this left side over to Rylan Ross. Opportunity. Ball was crossed across the middle. Knocked out of play.
You know, Coyotes are really about one pass and 2 steps behind and making something happen in their attacking third. They just got to piece it together.
I got to tell you, it looked like on that centering pass there was an opportunity, but nobody was moving toward the ball. I mean, it looked like the pass was there, and it's almost like a Chandler Gilbert player just had to sense it, and if they did, that the pass was there. They just needed someone just to attack and make a shot on the goal.
They're a little out of sync right now. You can definitely tell that. But once they sync up, once they start to play as a unit again, they start connecting some passes, movement off the ball gets more fluid. It's going to open up.
So once again, Carlos Sanchez.
PV's putting themselves in a very tricky situation right now. They've given up way too many defensive fouls.
Sanchez boots it down the field. Zambrano's there, gives it a header. Ball's knocked in the air. Garcia putting it up. PV. Chandler Gilbert trying to save it. PV knocks it up the field.
It's a 2v2. Now it's a 1v1.
Opportunity. Phoenix Hall knocked the other way. Garcia giving chase. Now all of a sudden Chandler Gilbert on that back end, all of a sudden collapsing. Getting back, the numbers are there, evening up. This one knocked down low, and this one, Chandler Gilbert coming up and taking it away. Good work by Kalili on that back end.
Garcia is putting the work in on the attacking third for PV. It is fun to watch this kid play.
Yeah, Garcia has been a burst of energy, as well as Alvin Johnson. So we are closing in on 35 minutes left in this second half between these two bitter rivals. Knotted at one. Two teams both struggling offensively in their losing streaks, and both teams have shown some great effort. Jimmy Quintero,
what a
Phoenix Hall had an opportunity, and that one's knocked away as the player is down for BV.
Garcia looks to be down.
Get a jersey number for you, and that does look like to be Matthew Garcia, sophomore.
All over the place. He's giddy in the attack. His transition looks good. And when he starts to link up with the other players, it's going to be fun to watch. He's all over the place.
And about to check in is number 7, the dose of explosive energy for PV, and that's Alvin Johnson, who's been a spark plug and then some in this contest. And good move by Kamala Garma. Garma hits the turf. So right now we're seeing bodies flying as Garma picks himself off, and Chandler Gilbert back line getting an explanation. Nicholas Montoya giving out the brunt of punishment on that one.
You know, it's an unfortunate place to give up a set piece if you're the Coyotes. This is very dangerous territory at top of the 18. This is shooting distance. This is prime shooting distance right here.
No question. Emmanuel Zambrano, their All-American defender with a team-high 5 goals, no question. What do you expect from Zambrano in this opportunity?
You have to put it on frame. You have to. You're too close in to chip it over the wall. You got to put it on a rope, upper V, or put it low and away from the keeper. If you're Coyotes, you're going to have to mark this up.
Zambrano is eyeing in, and Zambrano lets this one fly, and this one is
off the woodwork.
Off the woodwork to the left. So this one trickles out of bounds, and another corner kick opportunity. And this time on the back end is Jalen Pasillas. He'll let it rip. And this time they switch out, so it'll be Garma, the freshman with a couple assists on the year, will look to give his team an opportunity in the box. This one trickled, and Magana
Nice
coming
save.
up big. Magana, look what I found. Right
said
place,
thank you.
right time, and secures the leather. And last I checked, we're in October, but Christmas came early for Magana on that one.
Absolutely. He unwrapped that present and said, thank you.
So Daniel Magana. Part of the good hands people of some insurance company somewhere, coming up with the save. Keeping this one knotted at one. But that was excellent work by Paradise Valley. Talk about perfect execution on the corner kick.
Yep, and when you have tall guys on your team and you have set piece and you have corner kicks, you're looking to serve that ball like they just did and try to make something happen with the tall guys. And sure enough, it almost happened. I mean, a great, fantastic save.
So now it's PV back on defense as Chandler Gilbert trying to make some noise offensively. Throwing opportunity for the Coyotes. Working that leather. Nicholas Montoya. And now body hits the turf and they play on. Working that back end right there. Rylan Ross tries to boot it back up the field and does that. And now it's Montoya.
What a ball. Unlucky. That was a good ball, though.
Rylan Ross trying to keep it in play. Phoenix Hall on that back end. Ross heading it back the other way. Quintero there. Sam Bellows, and Bellows a force. Look at Bellows. That's just effort.
That's fantastic ball control. Took the ball on his chest, out of the air, kept control, and now he goes down for a yellow card.
And no question, Harrison Hofstad, he's been very physical in this one. And once again, him and Bellows they get a little tangled up, and Hofstad didn't like the call. And Bellows going back the other way. So we expected the level of intensity to pick up in this second half, and we were seeing it. Bodies a little tighter. Players roaming free, not as much.
The further we get in this game, you're going to see both players, both teams start chipping away at the referee, and they're going to have to minimize that. You start to frustrate the ref, you start to frustrate your coach, you're coming off the field. You cannot do that this late in a game.
Z Marquez, let this one go. Freshman forward. Knocks it down that left side. Trying to keep it in play, and this one goes out as Phoenix Hall of PV gets the ball on the throw-in. PV. Joshua Gutierrez working that back end, and now you can see the tight man-on-man pressure between both sides. Gabriel Kesey and Corbin Lewis of Chandler Gilbert getting knotted up. So Zambrano, another free kick opportunity. Magana's been tested. Magana's come up big, and Zambrano shoots it back the other way to the corner, working that left side of the field. Chandler Gilbert shoots it up. Bellows.
But where's his support in behind?
And Bellows. He's got Zambrano.
What a run.
Bellows. And Zambrano knocks out of play. So
Looked like a handball to me.
Bellows not wasting any time. And Magana.
At the
coming
PK,
up.
yes, absolutely.
So some physicality right there. And
Oh, no. On Chandler Gilbert, no
and
way.
the yellow card comes out.
Where did this come from?
So we have controversy late in this one. 26 minutes and change. And the card comes out.
I have no idea where that one came from. No idea. He got hit into the keeper from his behind. He ends up getting the yellow card, the double yellow, so he's out. Coyotes now have to go and play the next 26 minutes down a man, tied at home. Momentum switches.
So a huge call on this one, and see if the Coyotes can respond and try to draw themselves out of this huge hole, being a man down. But now it really comes down to sheer will and determination. And you hate to see the refs be so impactful in the game, and one critical juncture in this one could set the tone for the rest of the game.
It's completely unfortunate. I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with that. I thought Coyotes got fouled. It should have been a PK for my spot. But even so, to give a yellow card that hard on someone who already has a yellow card, you better be sure that it is a foul indeed. And there wasn't enough there for us. But again, we're not in the situation with the referee is, so we can't really say that. But still, completely unfortunate for Coyotes.
Phoenix Hall and Ron Ross getting tangled up, and now the whistle blows, and opportunity for PV from that left side, and Jalen Pasillas will let it go. He's eyeing his attackers, and Pasillas rips this one in the box, and this one is over the goalpost.
Sends it sailing.
Over the crossbar, and so Daniel Magana picking up the leather. Checking in for Chandler Gilbert, number 15, Jay Fuentes. Sophomore forward. Getting some instructions by assistant coach Bryce Johnson. And stepping out, Shane Nesbitt. That explosive force of speed. Taking a breather. 24 minutes and change. This one knotted at 1.
Tactics have to change. You would think that things are gonna change from the coaching staff and from the way the players play for the Coyotes. They're gonna have to do something a little bit different. They're down a man. They got 24 and a half minutes to play. That gets a really tough PV team.
Sam Bellows' goal got the scoring started. About 6 minutes in, then Matthew Garcia of PV tied it late in the first half, and that is where we are. And you can see Sam Bellows with the excellent attack on Nayun Zimi. Nayun Zimi gets the ball back, and he fires it across the field.
I mean, you can see the idea he was going for, just kind of shanked it a little.
So PV had the ball in the middle of the field, and this one, Phoenix Hall with the shot. It goes wide. A good opportunity. And stepping back in for PV, for Chandler Gilbert, Isaac Waddell steps back in, stepping out. Alfredo Oliver checking out.
You know, I absolutely love to see the confidence a player has to be able to take a ball out of the air, first touch, side volley on top of the 18 and have that rip. Phoenix Hall did a great job at that.
So Nayuzimi shoots it up the field. Giving chase, Jalen Pasillas. And Nagana out of the box and just dodges a bullet. PV right on his back. Kamala Garma was right there. It was almost a simple kick in for the go-ahead goal.
We're talking centimeters.
So Magana's dodged some bullets. And that one just as close as that corner kick he saved just a short time ago. Knotted at 1.
Here comes another card. For dissent, Alvin Johnson, I think.
So Johnson waves his hands up in the air like, what did I do? So Alvin Johnson
and
stepping
here he comes out.
Jonathan Granados stepping in, and make no mistake, Granados is a young man who can do things. 3 goals on the season. So as talented as Alvin Johnson is, and no question you want him on the field, Coach DeVries, he pulls the card and brings out Jonathan Granados, a young man from Paradise Valley High School who can put the ball in the net. And in a game like this, he might be a decisive factor down the stretch.
And I think PV's coach made the right decision. You have a player on the field. You're up a man right now, and you have players that can't keep their head in the game. And you got to do what you got to do. You have to regain composure, especially being up a player. Momentum starts to switch. Coyotes are on the attack. Ooh, good job defensively for PV.
If you're coach Zach Camp right now, you're down a body. What's the philosophy of trying to keep PV out of the pipes?
Well, right now the Coyotes haven't done a good enough job getting into the final third and getting the attacking third. They haven't created enough opportunities. They're losing possession too easily. They'll have one or two passes where they can connect, but it's that third pass that they lose possession on. They can't get too much going in the attacking third, and even when they do, they have one, maybe two attacking players in for support. So if I'm the coach for the Coyotes, you got to think, do you go for the win, you're down a player, or do you go for the tie? Do you go defensively and go out for a tie and try to force it into overtime?
So Jay Fuentes is streaking down that sideline for Chandler Gilbert. And now both teams, a little timeout on the field. So 22 minutes in to this second frame, and we've seen physicalities. We've seen the yellow cards come out. We've seen a potential questionable call that goes against the home team. But the bottom line, if you're Chandler Gilbert, you got to play on. And if you're Paradise Valley, you can't let calls get in your head, and you got to be above the referees in this one.
And it is very easy, and to the coach for PV, to his point, taking out players that are getting cards for dissent with the referees. Even though you are up a player, it is very easy for this momentum to switch against you. You start to annoy the referee. He's constantly on you. Now maybe you're in card trouble. Now you're down. Now you're playing with 10. And it's a 10v10 match when it should have been 11v10. So you really have to keep the composure. But I would say keep pressing them, get after them, and try to go up too. Because I mean, we got 25 minutes of play with Coyotes being down a player. If PV cannot find a way to make this happen and go up a goal and come out of this home field for Coyotes 2-1, that's going to be a tough bus ride home.
So Daniel Magana has taken his share of shots. He's wearing that loud and proud fluorescent pink jersey. What have you seen from the freshman goalkeeper for the home team tonight?
He has been in the right place at the right time for a couple of those opportunities, like that last corner kick right there in the middle, perfect placement. And when he hit the ball, when he cut the ball, he held on to it. He didn't bobble it. He didn't drop it. He's been phenomenal in that sense. And he's had a couple big saves, or just that last breakaway one-on-one, just got his fingertips on it, pushed it wide. It was absolutely magnificent. He has kept the Coyotes in this game to where it's still winnable, even being down a player.
And on the other side, Jaden Thomas, he's had a workman-like approach. He hasn't had many shots on him in this.
Yep.
From about midway through the first all the way to this point, he hasn't really seen a lot of action.
Well, I think he's paid his back line a hefty sum to keep it that way for this game, because they've done a great job preventing the Coyotes from getting shot opportunities.
So it's the Coyotes going to work offensively. I'll make that PV on the throw-in. And it's the Coyotes giving chase and working on that back end. Jonathan Aguilar knocking it back the other way. And Phoenix Hall has been a factor in this one. Hall giving chase as PV working that left side of the field. Shot across. Opportunity in this.
Good clearance.
Good header by Roman Venegas. This one
what
shot
a good
across.
Service.
This one.
Wow.
Point blank.
Diving header on the back stick inside the 6, and he sails it over. That's completely unfortunate.
Picking himself off the turf. Jonathan Granados. And we talked about Granados stepping in for Alvin Johnson. Here's a man who's skilled, and he had the point blank look and just could not knock it in off the header, and he had a point-blank good look.
Wow, another card. Again, you got to keep your composure in this type of a game. You're down a man.
So Christian Williams draws a card, and right now we're seeing a lot of tempers flaring and a lack of poise on the field.
I mean, control what you can control, right? Control your mouth, control your composure. If you can't control that, you make bad things happen against you.
So PV working the leather. Now it's a handball, and PV's going to have an opportunity. Jimmy Quintero.
I think this is one of their first deep attacking third set pieces that PV has had this half. See what they do with it.
So it's Eric Nayunzima as well as Manuel Zambrano. Zambrano has been in on numerous free kick opportunities, but you got to wonder if he's going to dish this off and have Zambrano just give it a good look. Coach Johnson shouting to his defenders to follow it all the way through. Phoenix Hall racing upfield. Nayunzima eyeing it. Couple defenders in front of him.
Look for them to maybe combo around this.
Nayunzima shoots it across, and this one a laser right around. Right around the goalpost.
That ball knuckled. Wow.
My goodness, that thing was going about 50 miles an hour. Nayunzima shot a laser. That was like a bullet out of a gun. But that was like a big curveball that had no chance to hit the outside part of the plate.
That was massively impressive.
So we are under 20 minutes left in this second frame. Knotted at one. These two rivals. Nayunzima working that right side. He's got a leg, working it. Headed on that back end by Chandler Gilbert. Giving chase. Coyotes working that ball up the right side of the field.
They just got to do a better job keeping possession once they get it. They're just too eager to give it away.
So the Coyotes need to be a little more cool and calculated with their passing. Good work getting into the middle portion of the field.
Now they're starting to find a little bit of a rhythm.
Gutierrez.
Beautiful run.
Now up the
can't
field.
keep possession.
Corbin Lewis. Now it's PV going back the other way. Good work by Garma. Garma lets it rip. Garma right into Magana right there again. Daniel Magana, right place, right time. And Magana.
Oh, breakaway here. Good opportunity if he can keep this. That's got to be a foul. Yes. Yep. Slide tackle when he did not need a slide tackle. He could have just stood him up there and been fine. But no, now they've given up a very, very dangerous set piece. If I'm Coyotes, I'm putting numbers in the box and just hitting it big right at the keeper, trying to put someone around it.
Jay Fuentes hitting the turf, so opportunity for the Coyotes. Christian Williams, we saw him just a short time ago. Drawing the card. Fires this one up.
Could be dangerous. Again, no one wanted to go mix it up on the Coyotes with the keeper.
Jaden Thomas. And you know, in that situation, your opportunities have been very limited.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, when do you see the aggressiveness against the goal in the box? Got to step it up.
I mean, at that point, yeah, he could have pulled that ball a little bit further away from the keeper, sure. But even at that, though, you didn't see any of the forwards really put pressure or pace on their run to go chase the ball down. And, again, you're tied 1-1. You're down numbers. You have an opportunity. That's the time to go do your job and not go to sleep.
So, Coach, in that situation, do you characterize that as youth, as freshmen, not having the aggressiveness to step up, or, you know, just not finding the sheer will at that point to make a play?
You know, it's a little bit of that. Also, we can't. I mean, as easy it is for us to call it here, they have played a really, really tough game. It's been fast-paced. It's been go, go, go. So, yeah, sometimes they're not going to be able to get there. But on the other hand, it's a set piece. It's an opportunity. You're standing. Go get it done.
Absolutely. So, knocking away, Alfredo Olivar. Make that Roman Venegas knocking it away on that back end.
And
so
you can see PV, they have had tremendous amount of shots per game, just like the stat sheet has said, but their shot on goal accuracy is far below Chandler Gilbert's throughout the season. And so they have a lot of shot opportunities, but they haven't produced much of anything today.
You know, and talking to Coach DeVries, he said, look, we got a young team. And, you know, so a lot of these kids are stepping up from the high school ranks. And, you know, and obviously with youth comes the chemistry factor of learning to play together and being in the right place and with the right opportunities to be in a good position. This one knocked down the field by Marquise. And Jaden Thomas scooping it up and giving it to his back end.
What's going to hurt Chandler Gilbert is now their target forward is on a yellow card. So he can't be as aggressive and press as much as he has in the first half. So now he has to be aware of that. So now instead of sending balls through, up and over, and letting him go chase onto it, you're going to have to find feet, play it around the back line, find some gaps, and try to find your openings that way, just like this. Oh, he's a little bit slow on the pass going forward.
Kalili Kalui.
Good ball coming out.
Side. Corbin Lewis fires it across. Giving chase in that corner.
Got a corner kick out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Make something out of it. This is the time where you got to step up. If you're the Coyotes, you got to step up and put the ball in the back of the net. Become the hero. Walk out of this game 2-1 by being a player down.
Someone has the chance to put the cape on and rescue Gotham City tonight,
yeah,
right?
There you go. The city is calling. The light is out. Where's Batman?
There it is. Question is, why so serious? This one shot into the box, knocked away, giving chase, PV, getting it out, trying to keep it.
Good ball control.
Is the Coyotes.
Ooh.
This one knocked into the air, and now PV giving chase on that left side. Roberto Teran. Teran fires it up. Opportunity. Max Taquillo. Another body down.
Wow. Oh, that is an interesting call.
Jimmy Quintero in that corner. Dumps it back out. Roberto Teran. Teran fires it across. This one ripped close. This one up. And this one is in for PV. Max Taquillo, the southpaw, bangs it home. And PV takes a 2-1 lead.
He found himself wide open inside the 18. And he sunk that ball right past a very good goalkeeper.
So Jimmy Quintero finds Max Taquillo with under 15 minutes left to give PV a 2-1 lead. And that was just some execution by Quintero. A little give and go, and Taquillo, the southpaw, just ripped it right past Magana, who's been in perfect positions all night, but that time out of his reach and giving the Pumas the advantage.
And you know, that's one of the worst positions you can ever play on a team for football is the goalkeeping, because you can have a magnificent night like he has had tonight, and you have one thing go against you, and now your team's down 2-1. It makes it imperative for your forwards to get the job done when they have the opportunities.
So PV continuing to put on the offensive pressure and control the leather. Most importantly, controlling the leather, controlling the clock in their favor. Right now, they're not chasing the game, and they're controlling the game by keeping the ball in their possession. So if you're Chandler Gilbert right now, how do you change the momentum? How do you tie this one up?
You got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. You have to put numbers around the ball. You have to be better with keeping possession, passing it around PV, looking for those openings, and not conceding a third goal.
And this one is in. This time it's Zambrano from the right side. the All-American defender on the great corner kick, and Zambrano point blank. Magana not close, and Zambrano makes it 3-1. Zambrano with his 6th goal of the year makes it 3-1 PV. And we saw some excellent execution by Jimmy Quintero feeding Max Taquillo, and then off the corner kick, beautiful execution. Zambrano left alone. We kind of talked about that. Body not being there, too many open opportunities, and right now PV capitalizing late in this one.
And it's been the same story with both defenses. It's just PV has been able to capitalize more than what CGCC has, and that's been the difference so far, especially late in the second half. It's completely unfortunate to lose your composure defensively, lose your mark. I mean, that's one thing you just can't do. Leave your mark wide open inside the 18. Bad things happen.
So now if you're Chandler Gilbert, offensively, safe to say you got to take some chances. You got to take some risks here.
I mean, at this point, you're probably looking to take someone out of the back, put someone else up top. I mean, if you're running a 4-3-3 with the red card, now you're doing a 4-3-2. You probably got to switch it up. Are you worried about conceding more goals than what you are scoring goals? Probably not. At this point, I probably go to a 3-5-1, but more in the midfield, put one up top, less in the back line, and just press everything against this back line. Because when CG has pressed PV's back line, for the most part, PV has crumbled on the 1v1 defending.
And you got to tell you, even though he could not move that ball, and this coming up the right side, PV, bodies flying, Roman Venegas working, Roberto Turan, and Turan showing that pressure and that speed from the right side. Turan coming off the bench and providing a burst of energy late in this one for PV.
Chandler Gilbert's got to be smart defensively. That was almost a PK situation, and you just can't put yourself in that situation.
No, calmer heads have got to prevail. You're chasing the game. You've got to be smart. You can't allow the opposition a point-blank look to increase a lead.
Came from an offside position.
So what I was saying, that even though he couldn't move the ball forward, Bellows did a great job. You could tell the hunger and the desire. He was battling 1 against 4, but as you mentioned so many times, he's got to have someone's got to follow. He's got to have someone to trail. Someone's got to follow his lead and follow his emotional, aggressiveness and be right there by his side to take the pressure off and be able to be open and maybe have something happen down the course of the field. And Zambrano lets it rip, and right in that back end, Chandler Gilbert trying to clear it out. And PV, as they've done so well in this second half, deep in Chandler Gilbert territory. And Chandler Gilbert playing the uphill battle, closing in on 10 minutes left in this contest. These two rivals, longtime rivals, and PV must-win situation to keep their playoff hopes alive, and no question still stinging from the double overtime loss last month on home turf.
And it's the worst score line in football is a two goal lead, because 1 goal you're right back in it. The second goal, now it's tied, momentum switches. So even though it's a 3-1 game, this very well could end up in a very tight battle to the race. If CGCC gets a goal somehow in the next minute or two, expect this to be an electrifying last couple of minutes.
So it's good to see Shane Nesbitt back on the field. Nesbitt, number 26, fast forward. He can make things happen. Electric with the ball. And Chandler Gilbert's going to need his explosiveness on the field. And Bellows has been a tone setter for Chandler Gilbert all night by the way he's played with the opening goal, and even late in this one, showing his aggressiveness.
Another yellow for dissent.
And you hate to see that. Got to be able to keep your poise and composure, as Zambrano will get a free kick opportunity. So now a conversation ensues between the Chandler Gilbert coaching staff and the referees, just trying to get an explanation on the card, to no avails.
Yep.
It is the call. It is what it is.
I mean, if I'm the coaching staff, I am equally as frustrated, but this Chandler Gilbert team has to understand that they got to control what they can control, and they're not doing a good job with that right now.
So now Zimmy hits the turf, and Zambrano will have another opportunity. And make no mistake, we've heard so much about Manuel Zambrano, All-American, and needs to say he is as good as advertised.
Absolutely.
A great defender, great offensively, great leg, great poise, and he's going to make some D1 program very happy. And he's undecided as of now. So at some point, he's going to sign a dotted line, and whoever gets him is going to get a bona fide impact player to that roster next year.
He is a bag of money just waiting to be picked up.
So as we just talked about, Zambrano off the header and trying to work it back up the field, and Chandler Gilbert trying to find some opportunities as Nesbitt working that leather and shot across on that right side, and Chandler Gilbert playing possession, but they got to get the ball. They need some shots on goal. Bellows is at point-blank range, and this one's knocked out away by Zambrano. So good. Christian Williams at midfield heads it back the other way, and now it's PV working that right side. Coming up, Garma on the turf. Takes a shot. No call. They play on. And the clock is ticking. 7:50 and counting. And Garma picking himself up. Former star of Cesar Chavez High School, downtown Phoenix. And Zambrano dumping it off to Jimmy Quintero. That right side being worked. Ball trickles out of bounds, and PV retains possession as Carlos Sanchez goes in. Also checking in, Matthew Garcia, who scored his 4th goal in this one.
PV's not done. They're looking for more goals, and with Garcia going in, this is a huge, huge threat. I would put 5 guys around him.
And this PV team, you know, we thought when Alvin Johnson checked out with getting the card that this team might not have the explosiveness, but they've really collectively have stepped up, and they've made the most of their opportunities and really have shown some great team soccer and shown their skill, whether it be on one-on-one situations or off the corner kicks as well. Shot is fired, and this one is high.
Just over.
And that is Zambrano, the All-American, who has scored his 6th goal in this one to make it 3-1. High over the crossbar, and 3-1, PV leading.
See, now this is what Chandler Gilbert has missed from this better part of the second half. It's just connecting passes, moving, creating opportunities, creating passing lanes, and making the defenders make a decision one way or the other. They have not done a good job doing that this half. They finally started to do it late in the second half. I'm hoping they can find something, get a goal, make this really interesting the last 5 minutes.
No question, this young team is trying to battle and trying to find some offensive opportunities to draw this one closer. Trailing 3-1, under 6 minutes left. Bellows.
Oh, that's a good opportunity.
Flips it across, and this one, just a great defensive effort by PV, racing across. Roberto Turan from Cortez High School. Make that Cortez. He's a Colt, and he was flying like one. Trying to cut off that pass from Bellows, and you know, you can look at a loss and find some positives, and for me, it's like for me, as I walk away from watching Chandler Gilbert for the first time, Magana plays hard in that net, but Sam Bellows is no question provides such leadership just by his style of play. He might not be vocal, we don't know what he is behind the scenes, but here's a young man that plays hard, and hopefully going forward for this Chandler Gilbert program, they can learn from the effort from this freshman who's out there and battling and working hard, and collectively that's what this team needs to do to get back on a winning track, is collectively work hard as that shot sails over the crossbar.
You know, it's really special when you have a freshman coming in that sets the bar and puts it higher than what it was when they got in. See this kid play next year if he's still here at Chandler Gilbert. It's going to be a treat. I would expect he's going to elevate. He's going to force the rest of the team to elevate up to his level of play, and that only makes the program better when that happens.
And if you're looking on the other side for this Paradise Valley squad, well, Zambrano leaves. He'll be moving on to the next level. We wish him well in all his endeavors, but the nucleus of this team is freshmen, and that's a shot that Jaden Thomas will just roll in, and Bellows giving chase, right? He gets right in his mug saying, hey, I'm not giving up. And once again, we talked about his effort, and I applaud the young man. He's just playing hard, and, and watch him racing it up the field, and you got to love that. And but this PV team is a very young team, and this is a team that made the postseason last year, and Coach DeVries has had to deal with some injuries and some suspensions in the course of the season, but no question you're seeing a team that next year has the potential to be a force in this league.
This PV team has really put Chandler Gilbert to task on the transition, both defensively and attacking wise. I mean, just look at this. PV has 3 people around the ball instantly. That's probably got to be a yellow card.
And now Nayu and Zimmy and Isaac Waddell are talking, and now tempers are flaring with Sanchez and Garcia, and Sanchez has to be pulled aside, and heated words, but no punches thrown, and now both sides are, as Zambrano, the leader as he is, he's pushing his teammates away, saying, come on, just play the game. And you like to see that, right? You like to see the veteran, the All-American, setting the tone for his team, have the calmer head, be poised, play the game. It's almost over. We got this one in the bag. Team separated as the refs talk this one through, and of course, Christian Williams on that sideline, and Isaac Waddell, who was in that middle with Nayu Zimmy. Now we're getting back to live play, and Garcia, who scored a goaler in this one, he's coming off, and so a heated moment. Calmer heads prevailed. We play on with 3:40 and PV up 3-1.
I mean, it is completely unfortunate that they let it get to that point. The players let it get to that point. This late in the game, with the circumstances are what they are, there's just no reason to have that hot of a head coming into the end of the game. And they're still going after it with the referee. I mean, they're just asking for cards left and right at this point.
So Jonathan Granado's checking in. 3 goals on a season. Almost had his 4th. But you got to knock the header in, Jonathan. You can smile at us from checking in, but when you're point blank, brother, you got to knock that in.
Oh, man.
He said the wind knocked his point of view on the shot.
Even though there was no wind, right?
Yeah. Okay, 22. Make it happen, champ. Having some fun with Jonathan Granado's checking in, number 22 at PV. Came in, smiled at us. So we had to work that conversation midfield, right? That's what we do. And checking out is number 11, Malik Fierro, the freshman defender out of Pinnacle High School. He's a pioneer. Played his high school ball up to 17, up to 101. Pinnacle High School, the home of some outstanding athletes. Spencer Rattler, the South Carolina quarterback, came out of that high school, and we all know the basketball team is yearly a force.
Let's see if they can make something happen here.
Chandler Gilbert, corner kick.
I mean, you're limited on your opportunities. You have to make something happen.
Alfredo Oliver.
Now we're 7-on-2.
7-on-2.
Yeah.
Offsides, and that was Jalen Pasillas. So PV. That bench all up. They're into this one regardless of the score, and same for Chandler Gilbert. Sanchez giving chase on that left side.
And you can kind of see their attacking piece is very, very stale right now. Of course, they're down 3-1, but the movement off the ball is just slow. It's non-existent. They're having some opportunities here, even though they're on an offside trap there. But they just got to be more creative when they're up top. It's just so one dynamic right now.
So Nesbitt with the shot, and Chandler Gilbert playing this one out with 2 and change left, and Coach Zach Camp and his team, they'll go back to work and start getting ready to hit the road, and that is where they'll be heading next. Meanwhile, PV looking to pour the salt on the wound for the Coyotes. They'll have a Tuesday matchup against Gateway Community College at Eagles Park in Mesa. Kickoff set for 4:30.
PV is not done with this game yet.
Now PV is playing hard and kind of setting the tone for the rest of the season. This is Shada Magana coming up and snagging it in from Angel Bonilla. So look, you have your second units in, and they're playing hard. They want to make an impact, right? They're playing for playing time. And look, Grant, you've been in this situation before on numerous occasions. You've had the lead, and when those second teamers come in, what do you want to see from those guys that get limited minutes and trying to make the most of those opportunities?
Heart and production value. They have to be able to produce, whether that's producing on their 1v1 defending, producing on combining passes, their first touch, not giving up possession. They have to produce, even if they end up losing this game 3-1 as it is. Those bench players have to produce. If they start to produce, it's better for them. They're gonna get more minutes. They have to produce.
So Johnny Granados, we got to talk about Granados. And Granados got knocked down, and the PV side, they wanted the yellow card to come out. It did not come out. He got knocked to the ground. So needs to say, a call that didn't get made, but in this case, I think the refs just want to get through this one. And
absolutely.
And Nayo Zima and Sanchez getting tangled up, and that's easily Nayo Zima putting a body on Sanchez, and a card could have easily came out there. I mean, he basically hugged him, right? It's like, last I checked, you can hug your mom, you can hug your dad, you can hug your daughter, you can hug your son. You can't hug the opposing soccer player, right?
He tried.
Yeah.
He tried. But you can see where the frustration comes from the Chandler Gilbert's coaching staff. It's very one-sided with this, and it's unfortunate the way that ended.
And that's the way this one ends, as Paradise Valley picks up the victory by the count of 3-1. PV coming into this one, record of 6-6. Now 7-6 overall, 4-4 in league. And for Chandler Gilbert, and now tempers are flaring between Nesbitt and some trash talking on the other side, potentially Hofstad, and you hate to see this as DeVries grabs Hofstad and knocks him off the field. And you know, look, it's about having sportsmanship and class all the way through. Be a good winner, you know, and walk it off, and nothing more has to be said. You've already won the game, right? The game is paramount. You've won the game, and that is the biggest statement. You don't need to say anything more, because right now this is not good for Paradise Valley. It's not good for Chandler Gilbert. Play the game and walk off and be done with it.
And there, before that little scuffle happened, there was a late yellow card for Chandler Gilbert. I'm not sure of the number, but the card came out. I think it was for dissent. Again, just cooler heads have to prevail. They have to keep their composure mentally. I mean, it's a tough game. I mean, being Chandler Gilbert, going up 1-0 early in the game with a beautiful, fantastic goal, and then Mother Nature happens, get a 30, 45-minute delay, get a goal against you. Now it gets equalized. You get late into the second half. You get a red card. You're down a man. You give up 2 goals pretty quickly. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, so Matthew Garcia tied it late in the first half after the Bellows electric goal by Chandler Gilbert to get this one started. As you mentioned, the weather delay, lightning throughout the valley. Yes, we get storms here in Arizona. We get beautiful weather, but we also get storms. And so it was tied at 1. And then in the second half, you could tell the Paradise Valley athleticism and skill picked up a little bit. Chandler Gilbert on their heels most of the second half, allowing too many free movements. And then it was Jimmy Quintero finding Max Taquillo point blank and beat Magana on 2-1. And then off a great corner kick, the All-American, Manuel Zambrano. And it doesn't get wrapped up any easier than that. Zambrano had the open right side of the net. He knocked it through. And a 3-1 victory for Paradise Valley. So now for Chandler Gilbert, a Tuesday matchup against Gateway Community College. And for Gateway, for Chandler Gilbert, look, Gateway is really struggling. 0-6 on the year, 0-9 in overall record. So that's going to be an opportunity for the Coyotes to go on the road and feel positive about their season. And for the other side, for Paradise Valley, well, mission accomplished. They had to win this game.
Yep.
And they came up big, and they showed they've got some young offensive talent. And Alvin Johnson.
Explosive.
We saw maybe this might have been, and you and I haven't covered a lot of PV soccer, so we don't know. Maybe this is a coming out party for Alvin Johnson and what he's capable of. And we saw Matthew Garcia, but we saw their intensity defensively. 3 men attacking an offensive player and just being in the right position at the right time. And Jaden Thomas, in between the pipes, didn't have to work very hard in that second half. He didn't have a lot of pressure on him. So Paradise Valley with the impressive 3-1 win. And we are going to be calling the girls' game in just a matter of time between the Coyotes and the Pumas. So stick and stay. More soccer from Chandler Gilbert right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network with Grant Wagner, Joe Pequeno, and Powell Hutchison on the live stream.